Hi, everyone. Hi.
Welcome back to the CONVO Couch. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Pastor Jardula.
And I'm Fiorella.
We have a great show today. I know I've had a lot of coffee, fam. I'm really sorry. You're going to have to deal with me. I'm a little lamped up.
You're at a 10, and I need you at a 3.
Well, you know what? Once we get this, you know how we get fired up by certain things that happen out there in the Democratic Party a lot of times, and just politics in general. We like to talk about these things every day. But we just got finished with this ADEM or ADEM chaos, which are the delegate elections to pick who's going to decide who gets the endorsements for the party moving forward. This is a type of a system that's pretty much new to a lot of Democrats or just people who are joining the party, whatnot. This is my first look at the ADEMs up front. And fam, you got an opinion about it right off the jump?
Right off the jump, it's very disorganized, full of corruption, and just chaos all around. I actually want to thank the people who did run, because it takes a lot of time and effort and courage to even do this, because you have to really work within the bottom of the Democratic Party. And when we start seeing corruption even starting at the bottom of the foundation of a political system, then we know that we have no hope at the top. And this just shows why and how everything gets co-opted, everything gets to be manipulated by the people with money, the people with ties to the political elite. And we have actually witnessed this, and we have a great show today showing the ins and outs of exactly what happened during these ADEM elections. Yeah,
I mean, you hit it on the nose there, fam. This, like I said, the rules, the lack of integrity within the rules. And I think at the end of this first segment, because we're going to get hyped up, we're going to have fun. You know how I like to play my games. And I got a game, because all I kept saying to you this weekend in my mind was like, come on, fam. Come on. You really you're going to go there? Come on, fam. So we got a new segment called Come On, Fam. Let's do it. Here it is. Come on, fam. Give me a break. Let's start the music up over here. I'm going to start number 1.
Okay.
All right. You ready? Here we are. Fam, registration for anybody? Now, peep this. At these ADEM elections, you don't even need proof of identification. I mean, for reals, anybody can vote. So check this clip out, what we caught over there in AD 74. Check it out. The one with Zach, when he gets the person, and, you know, he hits the table and he says, check this out.
So someone said you guys are working on an honor system today. Is that what's going on? You guys checking IDs, or you guys no ID checking today? Everyone can vote. That's it. Nothing. Nobody's getting checked.
They'll get checked. There's a random checking of votes.
A random checking. How many people get checked?
I don't know. I don't think it's done here.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
So you're talking, fam, no voter registration card, no ID, not even a bill or something that shows your name, nothing, fam. That means the establishment can come and stack the deck. Come on, fam.
So that means people that aren't registered there, or that maybe not be registered at all, are voting, and it's a mess. And you can't do something on the honor system, especially as the Democratic Party loves to look at legislation and loves to look at, you know, follow the letter of the law.
Yeah.
How are we going to do that at the top if we can't even do it at the bottom? So.
Well, what else can they do, fam?
Well, don't miss the bus, Gus.
Don't miss this bus.
Look at this, fam. So now you can stack the odds in your favor by getting any and as many bodies as you can to go vote.
Yep.
Right? So we heard about these rumors of busing people in, and actually they're not rumors, by the way. And you think that they would let people off and then park the bus around the corner. But look at this. Look at this. It was parked right up front.
They ain't even hiding it, fam. Oh.
Come on, fam.
Come on, fam. Look at that. Boom, man. You just got to park it right out front. I like your come on,
fam way better than mine.
Wow, man. I'm just telling you something. But how about this one, fam? Aren't these ADEMs for the constituents, for the people, and not the elected officials? I mean, look at this craziness out of here. Not only did Congresswoman Katie Porter she shouldn't be endorsing slates in her district, but now she's showing up on election day conveniently wearing the same color shirt as her slate was wearing. Look at this. There's Katie Porter right over there.
But she's just voting, you guys.
Oh, yeah, she's just voting. That's what she says.
She's not endorsing.
Look at the rest of the orange shirts around her. Please. You can't be doing this. There's no election integrity. Come on, fam.
That's ridiculous.
Unbelievable. You got something else, fam?
Yeah. So what's up with these slates already? These slates appear to look good for progressives, right? Wrong.
Yep. Tell us about what's wrong with these slates, fam.
Well, basically, these slates right now in Northern Cal, they're working really great. They're working great. We had a lot of turnout and we had a lot of our people win because Northern California is generally more progressive and is already forward. And as far as the things within their local communities, Southern California, however, the slates only serve the purpose to help the establishment. We only had a couple of slates winning with progressives, not all of them, but at least a couple of them. And the majority of slates that won were backed by congressional candidates who endorse these people, flat out, blatantly showed up at these elections, as we just saw. Katie Porter was one of them. Jamie Gomez was another. Wendy Carrillo had a slate.
Yep.
That one with the one with the bus. And then we also see people like mayors, city council people running for these seats when you might think it might not matter. Actually, it does, because then what these people do is they go and they tell the Congress people, hey, we're not going to vote against you. We're going to continue endorsing you. We're going to stand by you. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. And so thereby we have the corruption that it's just there. It's flat out there. And so these slates, I can see how people think they help progressives, which they can. However, the majority of these slates were backed by corporate money, and these people had the buses, they had the resources, and you know, and it was just, and also the slates that progressives built, there was a lack of communication. There was rivalries between progressives. So then the progressives ended up fighting each other too, and then of course they lose, and this is exactly what it is. Come on, fam.
I know, right? What up with these slates? Come on, fam. Really nice. What about an AD 51? Okay. One candidate was taking photos or trying to find out what was going on with these people coming off the bus with all these senior citizens. But then one of the Jimmy Gomez lackeys that we found out was out there, whatnot, actually grabbed this lady's phone and started running down the street. And when the lady went to grab the phone back, she gave her a smack. Take a look at this.
Do we have it? Oh,
no,
okay, we don't have it right now.
When it happened, and you're talking about you're smacking a lady who's trying to grab back her phone? Come on, fam.
Well, we do have the video of it's a 30-second video with the woman speaking, Lauren Steiner.
22 to, we didn't do 22 to 52? No, it's okay.
Okay.
All right, whatever. Well, that's just, you know, I mean, come on, fam. No,
that's crazy.
It's done.
But that specifically happened.
Thank you, my come on, fam, over there. There's video on this. We'll post it down below.
Lauren Steiner talked about it, and thankfully she was reporting, and we were there to see how she was treated. We were actually capped outside of this place where you had to have your own ticket to get in there.
When I go and run after Jimmy Gomez, right?
Yeah. At AD 51, they wouldn't let you film. They wouldn't let you get in line and talk to people, unlike AD 74. They were very exclusive. Wendy Carrillo basically had money to buy a 500+ area where you could only go if you were supporting their slate. They had food. They were enticing people with food. This whole thing was a dog and pony show about who had the better donuts, the better muffins, the free breakfast. And it's like, it reminded me of high school student government elections where you give whoever was the kid that was rich could give people more money to vote for them. And, you know, and that's all it is. Literally, that's what it is. It's disgusting and
power grab.
It's power grabbing and it's bullyish behavior. Like,
I said before, why can't we just eliminate these things? First of all, eliminate slates, eliminate the delegate process altogether. How about the girl we caught, somebody sent on in, she's filling out the form for the guy, and then she got busted. Take a look at this. We got this one up. Watch this.
Really?
Why didn't you bring your glasses?
Oh, she got busted. How you gonna hell grab the man's pen and start filling out the form? One of the staffers for your own slate. Come on, fam. Give me a break. You done got busted.
And just to wrap up the show, we have, well, the ADEM's part of the show. We have a post from Maria Estrada, who has been speaking out against this because they left her name off the ballot. And the entire Anthony Rendon slate won, which is bad news for us. Here are the new rules that should be implemented to install some kind of little voter integrity.
Yeah, this is great. All these things we see right here, we could talk about each and one of these situations. Yeah. Even the one where she talks about getting food, it has to be done on site at the place, like, you know, what we saw some of the progressive slates do. You know, we got a little breakfast room over here. But what are you going to do? You're going to tell people, hey, man, we're going to come pick you up. We're going to take you for breakfast on us. Go to the Denny's, IHOP, whatnot, and then bring the whole bus on over.
And then while you're on the way, you're like talking to
prepping them,
like
giving them the sheets.
Like, no. You guys, that's ridiculous. Elected officials, again, should not run. Elected staffers should not run. Family of elected officials should not run.
Staffers.
The ADEM is supposed to be grassroots people, activists, people who are involved in their communities, who actually are, you know, teachers or local activists or whatever they are, but they are involved in their communities.
Yeah.
And they don't have a kind of withholding to power already. Once you start running elected officials, then all of that power, it gets grouped in one area, and then it becomes a co-option of power. And that's exactly what we saw in the ADEMs this past time, as well as a bullyish behavior against progressives in particular. And, you know, just the lack of integrity all around. And you know, the kind of like what we see in the Democratic Party, what we saw in 2016 in the convention, and the way Hillary Clinton staffers treated, you know, burners and treated other people. That's what you see right now. And the centrists have unfortunately gotten a hold of the slate system, and we lost very, very many great delegates this time around. And
the slate system was bad.
Yeah.
It was more crippling than anything. I did have some respect. We have a little Zach video up there with some people who didn't necessarily make the cut. Some people that we liked. We saw some speeches. The whole thing was a shit show, fam. Like you said, it was like the high school elections. You couldn't even hear people speak. They sectioned them off. They had their people in there. They had their minds locked. And, you know, like Maria Estrada said, it's like, you know, all these rules should be implemented right over here because it's fair elections. Once again, Democrats get a hold of an election, and they are for shit. But let's take a look at this quick video. And what we're going to do is we're going to put up a little montage of some of the videos of the speeches we have or people we talked to outside. Later on, the Convo Couch Facebook page, we implore you to go over there and like, share, and do the whole 9 yards. We're going to put out the actual individual speeches we caught from each one of those people. So if you see somebody you like on this video, please take a look and watch the Convo Couch later on the Facebook. Go ahead.
Good morning. Buenos dias. My name is Gabriel Ramirez.
Hi, my name is Shayo Chakraborty.
My name is Ryan Kigawa.
My name is Rima Saad.
Madeline Carolee. Merritt.
I'm John Harabedian.
I'm Laura Oatman.
Hi, my name is Romalinda Osuna.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ritesh. Imagine a future where we have the ability to shape how we lead on the world stage.
Remember that delegates are elected to represent the communities, be able to have the pulse of the community, report back to the party, and make sure that they are addressing those needs.
Get the party and the people on the same page. You like that? I just thought of that this morning. The party and the people on the same page.
Today's day and age, politics has become so much about talking to the voter, but I want to try and bring back a sense of talking with them.
My main priority as a delegate for your vote is, first of all, is campaign reform, getting money out of politics.
We need to publicly finance campaigns. Look for congressional and state legislative candidates that are actually not taking big corporate money.
I was recently elected to be Secretary of Democrats of Greater Irvine.
I think it's such an interesting process because it's all about boots on the ground and who gets their people to turn out.
It is now ADEM season over here. So that was a little cut video. We're going to put up their actual speeches on the CONVO couch later on. Just want to send some big ups to guys like Ritesh in Orange County. He had some really powerful speeches, and what he said resonated. That's why I wanted to highlight him. Laura Oatman, who decided not to run on a slate. You know, saying Laura Oatman said she didn't want to run on a slate. I think that was big of her to do that because she could have easily jumped on one of those slates and probably been elected right now. She came up short, but we had a long talk about coming together to talk about the issues that we agree upon and not just knock heads with one another, and that was a good thing. Also, Rima Saad, I put her up there, one of the students and our boys' students, and a couple other students over here in this local one. Ermelinda Asuna, she came up short as well, but what an amazing, powerful message she had. I wanted to highlight her. And, of course, we have Madeline Carey Merritt, who we love so much. She also came up short. She was on a powerful slate, yet somehow she didn't come through. That was a shame. And, of course, Ryan Nagawa, who didn't run on any slate as well. We'll have their individual videos posted on up. Our editor-in-chief, fam, has found the video. You want to explain what the video is?
Yeah, just real quick, shout out to people like Gavin Pierce, who ran as also for the progressive slate in AD 51, Sing Bird. Shout out to Tim Johnson and JC,
yes,
who ran on the progressive slate in Orange County at AD 74, and you know, who witnessed this woman pretty much advocating for her slate and giving out flyers, which is completely unethical of her to do. It should be illegal. And you know, all of these progressives who put up a good fight, they should not give up. I'm not saying give up. I'm saying play smarter. No more infighting between all of you. You are all united against the establishment. And the establishment right now in Southern California has the upper hand. North Cal saved us, so the North always saves us. And you know, here we go moving forward. So let's look exactly at what Tina is her name, right?
Yeah,
Tina
the woman who took a shot. And there's other video, but we're gonna show you just the story because it was pretty freaking intense, fam.
Progressive slate. I had an opportunity to talk to her about what happened.
So I was videotaping these folks coming off the bus. So I said, "Where's this bus from?" No, the first one was like, "We don't have to answer that question." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm just going to keep asking until somebody answers." So one guy was definitely in district, two others after were not, because I know this. I live in this district. This is my district. So all of a sudden, this gal comes over to me, grabs my smartphone out of my hand, pulls it out of my hand, and starts walking down the street with it. So I was like, "Excuse me, are you stealing my smartphone?" When I took it out of her hand, she walled off and slapped me as hard as she could across the face. I kid you not.
Oh my gosh. I also tried to ask about this bus and...
Okay, and thank you to Lauren Steiner from the Robots Opposition for her reporting on that. That was...
You should go on and watch that video if you haven't seen it.
She has an entire video on her page. She had the guts to go confront these people because they were very off-putting. They were telling her she wasn't a journalist. They were mocking her. And I don't care what your political affiliation is. You know, you respect. She has credentials. She can show you. I mean, she is press. And I think, you know, regardless of your personal issues with someone, you can't. It's illegal to tell the press they can't film somewhere and they can't do any of that.
Yeah. And they were trying to deny that she's pressed. And meanwhile, she had credentials to the California DNC convention. That is adequate for any of these particular ADEM slates and stuff like that. But that was our segment, our way to open it up. And the ADEMs are done and on to the next thing. But to all those establishment people running shop, come on, fam.
And just one more thing. The ADEMs isn't the only way you can actually participate and get a delegate vote. If you're part of a Democratic club and you're one of the people they send, you can get a Democratic, you can get a vote as a delegate. And then you can also do it whoever presidentially you can be like a Bernie delegate or a Tulsi delegate, et cetera, et cetera. So there's still ways that you can be involved in your community and you can have an impact even if you're not a delegate. I know some of the people that ran as delegates are now going to be chairs in their Democratic parties, which can also help them as well. So, fam.
Next segment, number 2. Because on Saturday, Mr. Willie Brown made an announcement and the internet has been set on fire. First off, which the tone, it was kind of broken out after he said that a lot of attention went to the DNC, the lawyer who sued the DNC for rigging, not the one who was appointed by Bernie Sanders, the one who sued the DNC for rigging on behalf of some Bernie supporters. Jared Beck made some really harsh tweets that really just set the internet on fire. Take a look at them. The first one says, "Black women who think Kamala Harris is just like them are funny. As if every black woman has the opportunity to be a respiratory for Willie Brown's decrepit penis." Wow. Fam, any initial... well, before we talk about the spin, because once again, they tried to make the spin that these are Bernie people, these are Bernie supporters. Look how sexist and misogynist they are.
I don't think it was smart of him to say it that way, because I think that's exactly what people are going to say. He's focusing way too much on the sexuality part of it, when in reality, this is about Kamala Harris's lack of integrity. This is about looking at someone's character, looking at the fact that a person with no scruples is potentially going to be the next president of the United States, and that's something we need to focus on. A woman's escapades sexually should never be up for discussion. It is actually more about how she's handling these situations, her thirst for power, the fact that, you know, her record enough speaks for itself. You know, we shouldn't have to focus on this so much, but using it and saying that any kind of criticism, again, here we go again with any kind of criticism of Kamala Harris is sexist, it's racist. No, it is better to frame it in a different way. For instance, I'm going to go look and tell people, if you're so worried about Donald Trump's nepotism, about the corruption in politics, you at least have to be concerned in some way about Kamala Harris's lack of integrity and her lack of scruples in her whole political career, not just with this man, but in general, in trying to grab that power. We don't need a president that wants to be president because they have an ego. We need a president that wants to be president because they see that nobody else is doing the job that they should be doing. They're not listening to their constituents. They're not listening to the people. And that's it. And if Kamala Harris is showing and has shown that this isn't who she is, then okay, that's just another added bonus against her record, which is already terrible.
Yes, and like we said, we have the look this up guy. We're going to show him and stuff like that, but let's concentrate on how. Look at this spin. Some more Jared Beck responses from Art Crow. Here's another one. "Stick with filling nuanced lawsuits on Bernie's behalf, you soft, balled-up piece of dingleberry." And then we have another one from Hotshot Canary, says Hillary is our real president. Really, they're still on this. This tweet is disgusting. It's simultaneously sexist and racist and typical of burners. Never Bernie, Team Kamala, and that's what they've been trying to do. They've been trying to use the rhetoric and spin it against Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders did not make any consent towards this tweet. He didn't support this tweet. And you can see Don't Reach Youngblood, the last one. Bernie supporters are the worst. He puts. He has nothing to do with this tweet. So, you know, I mean, as disgusting as these words were, you know what I'm saying? The lawsuit wasn't on behalf of Bernie Sanders. It was Bernie Sanders supporters who wanted to sue the DNC for rigging. So the senator shouldn't be held accountable for what Mr. Beck tweeted. And despite the sexist, misogynist rhetoric, people have been researching the ex-San Francisco mayor, Willie Brown, and his affair with Kamala Harris. Fam, I told you this right now. There was already a knife in her side when it came to her job as a DA and her history of, you know, jailing protesters, whatnot.
Particularly black men and women of color.
Yes, of color. Yeah. But take a look at this right now like that, of what came to fruition and everything that came about this video from Fox News over here. We don't like to really show Fox News stuff, but it's under number 2 of the... What's that? You don't have the video right there? We'll take a look at the video. It says, external affair with Kamala Harris, San Francisco mayor, 84 admits it happens. And inside this video, you can take a look at this video, they talk about what happened, that he appointed her to commission spots because of that relationship. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, on the surface, it might look like this is just a disgusting tweet gone viral and we shouldn't be talking about these things. But now everybody's looking into it. And it comes off as a pay-for-play kind of scandal of sorts, you know what I'm saying? So even though they tried to say that the lawyer who sued DNC for Bernie Sanders calls Kamala Harris, you know, the vile, the truth is going to come out, and I say her goose is cooked.
I don't think this is going to be the thing that knocks her downfall, or it shouldn't be. I think the thing that should be that knocks her out of the park is her terrible record as a prosecutor, her terrible record of incarcerating the most black people like ever. And she's just that alone should just take her out of the game. The problem is we have the identity politics at play here, to where it's almost, we have people on Facebook saying, if you're going to criticize Kamala Harris about Willie Brown, just unfriend me. Like,
yeah.
No,
That's ridiculous.
Like, it's ridiculous. It's that whole mentality of you can't kind of argue that. And you know what? I do think white men, unfortunately, have a hard time even saying anything on this. And, you know, I'm going to speak out against it, because I'm sick of identity politics being used and people of color being manipulated as props to give people like Kamala Harris votes, to give people like Kamala Harris some kind of crud, when all of the legislation she has passed and everything she has done in her entire career has only hurt the very people you all symbolically are beaming about protecting. And it's just not the case. And I'm honestly, frankly, done with it.
I want to talk a little bit more about this Willie Brown article. It says, sure, I dated Kamala Harris. So what? And he's got some good quotes in here, and he even says plainly and simply, yes, we did. It was more than 20 years ago. Yes, I may have influenced her career by appointing her to 2 state commissions when I was the Assembly Speaker. I mean, come on.
This isn't about her sleeping with him. That doesn't matter. Like, I'm not here to discuss that. I think that's a low blow. This isn't about her using her connections to pretty much have this kind of nepotist attitude towards her career. And it doesn't matter if it was with him or with anybody else. That's lobbying.
Yeah.
That's using your connections to get positions that you shouldn't be getting.
Yeah.
And that's it. And she's not the only one that does it, like, at all. And again, if you're going to be against what Trump does, what other politicians do, you do have the right to criticize her, and specifically focusing on that.
And look what else he says. And I certainly helped her with her first race for district attorney in San Francisco. I also helped the careers of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Governor Gavin Newsom, Senator Dianne Feinstein, and a host of other politicians. The difference is that Harris is the only one, after I helped her, sent word that I would be indicted if I so much as jaywalked while she was the DA.
Wow.
So it's coming back to bite her in the ass. Ex-San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown spoke on up, and let me tell you something, this does not look good. I think the knife was in, now it's twisting, okay? Because now it's once again this Clinton-esque type of scandal of sorts, the pay-for-play. You scratch my back, I'll sleep with you, and you know what I'm saying, and we move up the ladder chain. Can you got the look it up video? We're going to play that? Because you got to look at this. This was the knife going in, and before Willie Brown twisted it. Take a look at this guy. This is beautiful.
Warrior mode, when bedwinches sell us out. Kamala Harris. Look this heifer up. So check, one of the most powerful positions in any city is the DA or district attorney, because they decide which cases get prosecuted and which don't. One of the most powerful positions in any state is attorney general. Kamala Harris was both. 2015 in California, a bill was pushed for the attorney general's office to investigate all police shootings. Attorney General Kamala Harris refused. Look it up. Through her career as a district attorney, she refused to prosecute cases of prosecutorial misconduct, meaning prosecutors withholding evidence or prosecutors committing straight perjury to get a conviction. Look it up. In one case, she refused to prosecute a forensics lab technician who was messing off evidence. A judge said no. Thank goodness, and over 600 convictions were overturned. Look it up. But the most telling case is death row inmate Kevin Cooper, who even judges say is innocent. He begged for DNA testing. Kamala refused, but only reversed it when the case went viral, when bedwenches fuck off the black community. Look it up.
Fam. Kamala Harris got caught with Willie Brown. Look it up. He appointed her to 2 positions that she should have never ever got. Look it up. She would have never had those jobs in the first place to be able to jail those innocent men and put those people behind bars. Look it up, fam.
This is exactly what we need. We need people of color speaking out against Kamala Harris, because the superficial idea is that people of color support Kamala Harris, when actually a lot of people of color support Bernie Sanders. And all of that data is not pushed out. The only data that's pushed out is look how much support Kamala Harris has from women and people of color and blah, blah, blah. And look at all she's done. What she's done. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at all she's done. All the terrible things she's done. And you know, people love to swallow everything they see. We have Politico. We have Washington Post. We have the New York Times. All of these people praising Kamala Harris. We know Kamala Harris has
Time Warner,
ties
CNN,
to Time Warner, CNN,
Town Hall,
and now
out
she
the
has
gate.
a town hall out the
Forget
gate.
about it.
Tulsi Gabbard was ignored, etc. Like, This is so obvious.
And they're going after Tulsi for the things she's done 22 years ago about saying certain things when she was a child. Look what this woman did. And she should have never had those positions in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And I wonder what Willie Brown's got on Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi, and Dianne Feinstein. Willie, give me a call. Let's speak some more. I want some more info and stuff like that. And we're going to get into the next segment, fam. I think it's important because we've been talking about this because we are still waiting for a man to kind of announce, possibly. We've had a lot of burn videos out there, but we talk about this all the time. And what could be really the death to us. And we see it with the whole Kamala thing, the way people are using it for deflection.
Okay. And real quick, I did want to say something else, too, about Kamala Harris and Tulsi. Kamala Harris's race and her gender is used to promote her and promote this kind of symbolic virtue signaling. Whereas Tulsi, they use her religion, her race, and gender to use it against her and attack her and defame her. Her the fact that she practices Hinduism, again, used against her. The fact that she's a woman of color, not even mentioned. So it's just this kind of thing where, it doesn't matter what she does from the get-go, she's losing. Yeah. And what we're seeing with Bernie Sanders now, jumping into the next segment, is that Bernie Sanders is also on the same page. He says he doesn't believe in identity politics.
Can I say something too, fam, about the Tulsi thing? We said this the other day, and it's very important. So far on the issues, Tulsi's had the right answers. She's had the right answers about Venezuela, which we're going to talk a lot about on Wednesday. Because, these two people over here, we ain't forgetting about Venezuela. We've been in there for years. Look it up. So she's been great on the government shutdown. She said it. Blame both parties. We shouldn't be doing this discussion on TV. Adults should get in the friggin' room and work things out. So far, she's been far and beyond more presidential than any of these candidates.
She's great on foreign policy. She's the best one on foreign policy, and that's something that people don't get. People like to say she's the worst on foreign policy because they don't understand foreign policy. Her stances are great. Look it up.
Fam, talk about Bernie and the
So Bernie doesn't agree with identity politics. So he did an interview with GQ, and it was a really awesome interview. You should go read it. It's called The Unfinished Business of Bernie Sanders. And he talked about several things, everything from the 2016 primary to what's going on right now and his potential run for the presidency. But let me go ahead and start reading this to you. In an interview with GQ, Bernie Sanders talked about several things, including the way his competitors put the symbolism of identity politics over policy. So GQ says, in a Democratic primary that is increasingly deriving its energy, not to mention its votes, from minorities and women, Sanders remains a critic of identity politics and a firm believer that issues of race, while important, are not as salient and determinative as those of class. So he said, there are people who are very big into diversity, but whose views end up being not particularly sympathetic to working people, whether they're white or black or Latino. My main belief is that we need to bring together a coalition of people, of black and white and Latino and Asian American and Native American, around a progressive agenda which is prepared to take on the extraordinarily powerful ruling class in this country. That is my view. Many of my opponents do not hold that view, and they think that all that we need is people who are candidates who are black or white, who are black or Latino or women or gay, regardless of what they stand for. That the end result is diversity. He hastened to add that diversity is enormously important, but there was a bigger goal: to change society and create an economy and government that works for all people.
Works for all people, fam. And this is the reason why he's going to win when he jumps in the race, because he doesn't make it all about race. He understands that we have to come together as people, workers. He mentioned it. You know what I'm saying? Don't attack each other. A lot of these things these mechanisms are put in to divide us so that the establishment and the rich can run off with all the power. And he's got his eye on the ball. And he says it in his very first ad that went viral. If we do not allow them to divide us up, we can accomplish anything we need to accomplish. Exactly. We can win. But, these mechanisms, especially these establishment people and the ones who say, oh, we can't, if I'm unfriending you if you even mention this. You know what I'm saying? Kind of making it's all about, something that it's not. Yes. Goodbye. Bernie, we love you and stuff. But this is the reason why if he jumps in, he will win. He doesn't play the identity politic game. And like I said, fam, it's not that these race issues aren't important. Yes, they are. But there's so much more.
The mechanisms they're using are not the right way to attack these race issues. No. They actually expand them. They make them more. They make people come against you more. He's particularly
it neutralizes it. Yes.
Yeah. He also said that when he felt white people, working class, were ignored, and that's why Trump won. And he is exactly right. A lot of the middle and working class in, you know, middle America were completely ignored by Democrats. Even in places like Michigan, they were completely ignored by Democrats. The Democratic Party was supposed to be the party of the working class. It is now the party of elites. And Bernie Sanders recognized that. And people like to turn that around and say he doesn't care about people of color. Wrong. People of color do care about Bernie, and he cares about them. Of course, there can be more, you know, optics that are better for him to use in his campaign this time around. However, I 100% agree with Bernie Sanders in the fact that the economics is the basis of our problems. It is not the race. The race comes from the same system that spews the patriarchy and the racial divide. But it is because of the economics, because poor people are all suffering under this oligarchy. And that is essentially what he's trying to say, that these people are using the symbolism that doesn't even help the very people they're talking about. And so that's precisely why I think Bernie Sanders has the capacity to reach across the aisle to talk to people who are disenfranchised from the Democratic Party, particularly white people. Yeah. And you know what? That's going to be used against him, but that's why we're here, to talk about why that's actually a faulty argument. And, you know, the whole Bernie bro thing isn't even a real thing. Yeah. Like,
it's making my job harder, fam. If I got to go talk and be responsible for white men and try to reach across the aisle to get them to come over, stop messing with the game. Stop using tactics to divide us, whatnot, all the time. You know, we have to come together as a people, working class people. Like I said, the two major groups they're the oligarchs and the working people. And George Carlin said it best. They bring up all these things that separate us from our differences. Yeah. Let's talk about the things that bring us together, not our differences, because the differences are used to pit us at each other's throat while they run off with all the money. Happens to work, fam. Yep. So we've had a great show today so far. I think we should wrap it on up. Yep. It's really, really great. We got a show. We'll be back on Wednesday when the sun is out in California sometime then. We're going to talk about Venezuela and a lot of other things. And once again, please like, subscribe, share, go on to our YouTube. Fam, we now got an Instagram, and you have a nice little video up there.
Yes, and we also have a video that Organizing for Bernie shared, if you haven't seen it, via Bernie's Coffee Shop and produced by the CONVO Couch, telling Bernie to run. So, come on, Bernie.
I'm going to say special thanks out to certain people. Tim Johnson, Drea Romy, thank you so much. Steve Woolbrandt, we love you. CJ, I hope you're feeling better. We miss you out there. Tyann Cheshire, we love your insight, girl. James Edwards, who we missing over here? Anybody else? And from our friends, Scott Dakota, Aaron Tenney, we love you. Scott. And my main man, Rocky Bellinger. I am Pastor Jardula.
And I'm Fiorella, guys. See you Wednesday.
Yes, CONVO out.